Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We could ask ourselves why the Lord gave us forgetfulness as remembrance. Everything is a question of love. Someone who loves us, he can go astray, can go away so that we are happy. Myself, for example, I've known this when I was a family man. When I went towards spirituality, the lady with which I was, she didn't like spirituality, so she left with the child, and asked myself this question. If I had the choice, I could attack her in justice, sue her. But since I was a devotee of the Lord, and since a devotee of the Lord sees everything like the will of the Lord, I accepted that my child be taken away from me. And still I really loved my child. And why? It is because we must be given what is the best. And just before that, when I went to see my daughter, when I will go and I will leave, then it will bring a very strong psychological shock because she stopped speaking. And so I realized that I suffered a source of disturbance. So when I received this letter where she told me, you won't be able to see your daughter again. If one day she wants to see you, it will be her choice. It was 33 years ago. And I remember this day, I really cried. I was devastated. And I prayed and I said, Lord, I surrender to you, and you take what is dearest to me. And I was lost. I was confused. Feelings, it makes us just like we will be intoxicated. I remember that day, I felt such love pierced me, so strong that my pain completely escaped. So much it was strong. Love of God came to fill me in such a powerful way that I forgot everything almost. And I started to cry of separation with Krishna. I even remember I embraced a tree to remember Krishna. And when I came back to me, I said, okay, Lord, I understand. I will dedicate my life to you. But I just ask you one thing, is to give the fruits, my fruits of my actions to my child. And then I took the path of renunciation. I abandoned everything. And I remember my spiritual master at that time. So I went to see him the day before to live in a place close to my daughter. And when I came back the next day with this experience, he told me it's really rare. You're very fortunate. Because people, they wander in this world through their attachment and they suffer.
Donc,
So
je me suis effacé
I erased myself
pour qu'elle soit heureuse.
so that she could be happy.
Parce que c'est le principe de la vie.
Because this is the principle of love.
On doit
We must
vouloir le bien des êtres.
want the well-being of living entities.
En fait, quand
In
les
fact,
enfants ils sont tout
when the
petits,
children
ils
they are
savent
very
même pas
small,
quoi.
they don't even know you, remember you almost.
Ouais, c'est comme ça.
It's like
Il
that.
faut accepter.
We need to accept.
De la même manière, le
In
Seigneur,
the same way, the Lord,
lorsqu'on veut le rejeter,
when we want to reject
on
Him,
veut vivre
we want to
indépendamment
live
de lui,
independently from
alors
Him,
il s'écarte.
then He goes away.
Bien qu'on ait une forme spirituelle,
Even though we have a spiritual form, a spiritual
des
name,
attributs spirituels,
spiritual
et une place
qualities,
éternelle
and
à
an
côté de
eternal
lui.
place next to Him,
Lorsqu'on veut faire
when we
l'expérience
want
de
to do the
l'indépendance,
experience of
alors il se
independence, then
retire.
He retracts Himself and we forget Him.
C'est comme ça.
It's like that,
Parce que c'est l'amour.
because it is love.
Quand vous avez beaucoup d'amour,
When you have a lot of love,
vous êtes prêt à vous retirer
you're ready to retract yourself,
pour laisser quelqu'un heureux.
to let someone happy.
C'est vrai,
It's
c'est
true.
une réalité.
It's a reality.
Vous êtes prêt à faire une
You're ready
intermédiation
to subtract yourself
pourvu qu'elle
completely
soit heureuse. Pourvu
for that
qu'il soit heureux.
as long as that person is happy.
C'est ce qu'on appelle
This is what we call
le renoncement.
renunciation.
On renonce à notre
We
propre
renounce
bonheur
to our own
pour son
happiness
bonheur.
for his or her
Eh ben,
happiness.
si cette
So
propension
if this propensity
existe en nous,
exists
c'est
within
qu'elle
us,
existe dans le Seigneur.
it is that it exists also in
C'est
the Lord.
pourquoi,
That
au
is why
moment où on veut être loin de lui,
when we want to be far away from Him,
alors il crée un monde
then He creates a world
où on peut complètement
where we
oublier.
can completely forget Him,
Complètement
but
oublier.
completely forget
Au
Him,
point qu'on
to the
pense
point that
qu'on
we
est
would
la
think
matière.
that we are matter.
Mais on ne peut pas s'empêcher d'aimer,
But we cannot stop loving
parce que c'est la propension
because
de
it
l'âme.
is the propensity of the soul.
Donc on va aimer
So we will
les
love
êtres de ce monde
people of this
qui ont
world
oublié aussi leur
and
réalité.
forget that also forgot the
Mais cet amour
reality.
est imparfait.
But this love is imperfect,
Et on souffre beaucoup.
and we suffer a lot
Parce
also
qu'il est
from
comme
this
une prison.
because it's like a
Parce que
prison.
c'est à cause de cet amour
Because it is due to this
qu'on
love
oublie
that we forget
le vrai amour avec le Seigneur.
true love with the Lord.
Plus on aime dans
The
ce
more
monde,
we love in this
plus
world,
on oublie
the more we forget
notre réalité.
our reality,
Et moins on peut la
and the
percevoir.
less we can perceive it.
Et alors on connaît
And then we know
une frustration.
a
On
frustration
ne peut pas exprimer
because we
notre
cannot
amour
express our love perfectly.
parfait. Et ça peut être
And this
compris
can be understood
que lorsqu'on
only
réalise
when we
notre
realize
forme éternelle,
our
notre
eternal
relation
form,
éternelle
our eternal
avec
relationship
Krishna. Sans ça,
with
c'est pas
Krishna,
possible.
otherwise it is not possible to understand.
En fait,
In fact,
lorsqu'on
when
devient déçu
we
de
become
l'amour,
disappointed with love,
alors
then
la foi commence à apparaître.
faith starts to appear,
Et on cherche
and
quelque
we
chose
search
qui a une substance
for something that has
supérieure.
a superior substance.
Alors on se met dans une quête spirituelle.
Then we put ourselves on a spiritual
Le plus
quest.
souvent, c'est
Often,
l'impersonnalisme.
it is impersonalism.
Parce que la
Because
relation personnelle
the
avec le Seigneur,
Personal relationship with the Lord
elle est
is
rarement
rarely
comprise,
understood,
atteinte. Et
attained.
pourtant, c'est notre
And still,
condition originelle.
it is our original
Et
condition.
lorsqu'on rejette
But
ce
since
lien,
we reject this
on a
relationship,
une tendance
we have a
à vouloir
tendency
garder l'indépendance
to want to
avec lui,
keep
chercher
independence
l'amour
from
sans
Him,
lui.
to search love but without
Donc, dans
Him.
un premier temps,
So at first,
on cherche
we search
avec son aspect impersonnel.
with His impersonal aspect because it is His
C'est
radiance.
proche de lui.
It is close to
Mais il n'y a
Him,
pas ces
but
attributs.
His qualities are not there.
Il n'y a pas de diversité.
There's no
Et
diversity.
lorsqu'on médite
And when we
sur
meditate
ce qu'on appelle le Brahman,
on what we call Brahman,
cet aspect impersonnel,
this impersonal
alors on peut
aspect,
avoir une
then we can
expérience
have an
d'un
experience
amour
of a very, very great love, immense.
C'est comme si on
It is just like we will be merging in love, that
mourrait
we
dans
will die in love.
Mais
But
même cet état-là,
even this state,
il est tout petit,
it is very small,
tout petit, comparé
compared
à l'amour qu'on peut
to the love that we can express, that we can experience with the personal aspect of the Lord. And when we progress more even, then He speaks to us in relationship with His creation. And then we can understand that He is in the heart of everything, in the tree, in the ant, in the blade of grass, in every living entity. And there are planets, universes, without innumerable. We can understand that He gives the fruits to all living entities. And we perceive then that all living entities are of our same essence, and in the sense that we're all united with this Supreme. There is the Atma and Para-Atma, the soul and the super soul. But when the desire for love is stronger, because the Creator, it's far away. It is a very distant relationship with reverence. Oh Lord, Supreme Lord. It's very sweet, it's wonderful, there's a lot of love. Because we become completely liberated from all suffering. And we see the living entities suffer, we become filled with compassion. We can tolerate everything. Someone who hits us, even someone who kills us, someone who criticizes us. Because we understand, because we came out of ignorance, we can understand why a person is ignorant, why that person has hatred. Before, it is not possible. But when we desire a love that is deeper, more intimate, then we need the sweetness of the Lord. The Creator, it's the opulence. I am the one who maintains, who creates, who destroys. All things come from me. I give the fruit to all living entities, knowledge to all living entities. I am the Supreme Lord, the only, the one. There's no intimacy. You cannot put your head, or the Lord cannot put His head on your shoulder and cry. Because He loves. He cannot reveal His heart. With the Creator, it does not exist, because the Creator doesn't need anything. But when sweetness comes, and we receive a knowledge of this sweetness, and we experience it, then the love that we feel is complete, because it is connected to our eternal form, which is a feeling of love, to our eternal beauty, to our eternal sweetness, and to the world of supreme sweetness, Krishna. Then at this time, this experience is complete. To the point that when we experience Brahman, when we have experienced before this sweetness, we feel that the experience of Brahman is like a punishment to this point. And still, it was an experience that could not be explained, unlimited in love. But when this person who is the origin of this radiance, and at the origin of this maintenance of all living entities, manifests itself under the form of His sweetness and beauty, and He transmits His heart to us, that He creates a need so that we can completely die for Him, die to live. Then, when He disappears, everything that we can experience is only a form of suffering. Because Nothing can give us that much happiness. Nothing can give us the experience to exist on this plane that is so elevated, it is impossible. This is why Krishna, he says, the goal of the Vedas is to know me. Because the one who experiences this, he understands why all knowledge are given. Because they are made gradually to have this reality again and come back in our original state. Right now, as a conditioned soul, to be in this forgetfulness of the Lord, we perform actions, and according to the quality of our actions, we go astray from this reality, from this truth, or we get closer. But this is a question of love, because everything is a question of love. When we love sweetness, Krishna, then we act for Him, we cry for Him, we want to be with Him. It's a personal question, because nobody can rival, compete with Him. But as long as we don't have this experience, we're obliged to direct our love, to give it. And this is the trap. Because when we place it improperly, not properly, then we cannot receive this desire and have this experience. That's why Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanamante, it takes time. It can take many lifetimes. Many, many lifetimes. Because in reality, it is really rare to want this relationship. It's really, really rare. Because the Lord, since He fulfills all desires, and also He must do it, because in an imperfect state, if Krishna retracts everything, takes everything away from us, we won't be agreeing, because we are in a state of misunderstanding of our eternal reality. If He takes away the beings that we love and our situation, we will have frustration towards Him, because we won't be ready to surrender everything, to abandon everything. It's not possible. This is why, in His mercy, He creates what we call reincarnation, because we forget everything in our next life from what we did in this life, except He calls us back. You were my devotee? Continue. And all what we acquired, we get it back, but we receive a situation that is more favorable for surrender. It cannot be any other way. Raise your hands if you're ready to surrender, abandon everything. We abandon or surrender through love. When the realization comes, we're obliged to abandon everything, because it is love. In a material point of view, we do the same thing when we fall in love. We abandon everything. People, friends, the life that we had. We say often that the thugs, they change when they meet love, for example. They meet a woman, they abandon everything, all the mistakes. They enter into a family life where they feel saved. It's a reality. Many, many people are like that. But in the same way, when Krishna comes to pick us, to get us, then we feel saved, because it is something that is natural. But it is not the most elevated thing. It is nothing. We especially feel that we are
différent
a being that is different
de ce que l'on croyait.
from what we thought we were.
On ressent des sentiments
We feel
différents.
different emotions.
On peut
We can
percevoir une forme
perceive a different form,
différente, une connaissance différente.
a different knowledge,
Et on peut,
and we
à
can,
travers l'amour,
through love,
voir Krishna.
see Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada disait,
Srila Prabhupada used to
c'est
say,
comme une télévision
it's
transcendante.
like a transcendental TV.
On peut voir ce que Krishna
We can
fait.
see what Krishna does.
Krishna peut nous appeler.
Krishna can call us,
Et on peut expérimenter
and we can experience
sur un niveau tellement
on
élevé
such an
d'amour.
elevated platform
Mais même
love.
si on entend parler,
But even if we hear about it,
si on a les désirs
if we have desires
pour l'amour matériel,
for material
ça ne
love,
fera pas l'effet.
it won't do the effect. It doesn't affect,
Mais ça prend du temps.
but it takes time.
Parce que même
Because even
matériellement,
materially
lorsqu'on
speaking,
s'est fait tricher,
when we're cheated,
on y croit encore.
we still believe in it, and again,
C'est sans fin.
it is without end.
Il doit bien avoir une solution.
There has to be a solution.
Le Seigneur est une personne.
The Lord is a person.
Il doit venir à un moment
It must come at some point
et entrer dans notre vie
and enter into our life
et nous faire comprendre.
and make us
On s'est
understand
trompé.
that we deceived ourselves.
C'est pas mal.
It's all right.
Le vrai ami,
The true friend,
le vrai mari,
the true husband,
le vrai père,
the true father.
c'est son droit.
It is his right.
Et quand il vient
And when he comes
et qu'on comprend,
and we
qu'on s'est
understand
trompé,
that we cheated ourselves,
alors on devient heureux.
then we become happy.
On devient vraiment heureux.
We become really happy
Parce qu'on arrête de
because
jouer
we
un
stop
rôle
playing a role
qui n'est pas le nôtre.
which is not ours.
Et à ce moment-là,
And then
la voie
the
de
path
l'amour s'ouvre.
of love opens.
On la voit.
We see it.
Et on sait ce qu'il faut faire.
We know what we need to do.
Avant, non.
Before, no.
On se retrouve dans une situation qu'on
We
comprend.
found ourselves in a situation that
Et
we
même
don't understand,
parfois qu'on voulait pas.
and even sometimes that we didn't want.
Mais dès que
But as soon
cet objet d'amour Krishna
as this
vient
object of love, Krishna, comes to take us,
alors la véritable
then
foi,
true faith comes.
par cet amour,
Through this
on
love,
comprend tout ce
we
qu'on doit
understand everything that we must do.
faire. Et alors, à ce moment-là,
And then, at this point,
on accepte la
we
voie de la
accept
dévotion.
devotion,
Et
and
on abandonne toutes les
we
choses
abandon
graduellement,
all things
qui sont
gradually
contraires à cet amour.
that are contrary to this love.
Parce que dès qu'on a un mauvais
Because as
ressenti,
soon as we have a bad feeling,
mauvaise pensée,
bad thoughts,
on agit mal,
that we act
on
improperly,
sent qu'on s'écarte.
we feel that
Et
we
comme on est attaché,
go astray, and since we are
on
attached,
abandonne.
then we abandon gradually.
Alors on peut se dire,
So we could say, but
personne ne peut vivre.
nobody can live.
Si,
Yes,
parce qu'on fait la même chose.
because we do the same thing.
Tout se passe à l'intérieur.
Everything happens inside.
C'est ça le secret.
This is the secret.
C'est que le Seigneur n'enlève rien.
It is that the Lord never takes anything away outside. Everything happens inside.
Et d'ailleurs, c'est très intéressant.
And so it is really interesting
C'est que vous voyez dans ce monde,
is that
les
you see in
relations,
this world of relationships,
elles peuvent continuer,
they can continue,
mais les êtres
but the beings
peuvent aimer d'autres personnes.
can love other people.
Par exemple, on voit
For example,
aujourd'hui,
we see today,
c'est pas rare de voir
it is not
qu'un
rare
homme
to see
et une
that
femme mariés
a married man and
s'attachent
woman,
à une
they
femme,
attach themselves to another man or another woman.
C'est quelque chose
It is
banal.
something that is simple.
Et ben, les relations, elles restent.
Well, the relationships they
Mais
stay,
il y a un autre amour qui apparaît en cœur.
but there's another love that appears in the heart.
C'est comme ça.
It's like that.
Et ben, de la même manière,
Well, in the same way,
lorsqu'on aime
when we love
le Seigneur suprême,
the Supreme Lord,
lorsqu'on aime Krishna,
when we love
la
Krishna,
douceur suprême,
the Supreme Sweetness,
alors on garde les liens. Et
then
la seule chose,
the
c'est
only
qu'on
thing
comprend les gens.
is that we don't cheat others.
On les aime
We love
par
them
rapport à leur réalité.
in relationship to their eternal reality.
Donc, quand on voit notre
Because when we
réalité,
see our
on
reality,
voit la réalité
we
chez les
see
autres,
the reality in others
plus l'aspect extérieur.
and not the external aspect
Et donc,
anymore.
on devient
And so we become
très fort
really strong
dans l'amour.
in love.
Parce que Krishna
Because
aime
Krishna,
tous ses dévots.
he likes all of his devotees.
Lorsqu'on a une relation,
When we have a
avec ses dévots,
relationship with his
on
devotees,
ressent aussi beaucoup de
then
choses.
we feel also a lot of love.
Et on ressent qu'en les servant,
And we feel that by serving them,
Krishna est satisfait.
Krishna is
C'est
satisfied.
pourquoi,
This
en
is why,
vérité,
in truth,
on ne perd rien.
we don't lose
On
anything.
gagne
We
dans toutes
gain
choses.
in everything.
Parce que tout devient sublime.
Because everything becomes used.
Ainsi,
In this way,
par l'amour,
true love,
Krishna
Krishna,
nous vainc.
he defeats us.
Et c'est une expérience.
And it is an experience.
Lorsqu'on est un dévot du Seigneur,
When we are devotee of the
on
Lord,
se sent vaincu.
we feel ourselves defeated by love.
Moi, je sais,
Myself, I know,
j'ai eu cette expérience.
I had this experience in my life.
À un moment, j'ai baissé la
At some point, I lowered my
Parce
head
que Krishna m'avait
because Krishna defeated me.
Et j'ai jamais pu
And I was never able
revenir en arrière.
to go backtrack.
Ça a été une expérience extraordinaire.
It was an extraordinary experience.
Il m'a vaincu.
He defeated me.
Il m'a tellement vaincu
And he defeated me
que
so
j'ai
much
dû abandonner tout mon projet.
that I had to abandon all my projects.
Tout ce que je savais,
Everything that I knew,
je l'ai simplement remis à ses
I
pieds.
simply put it at his feet.
Et je lui ai dit,
And I told him,
fais ce que tu veux de moi.
do whatever you wish
Tu
with
m'as
me.
vaincu.
You defeated me.
Comme un roi
Like a king
qui vainc
who defeats
un autre royaume.
another kingdom.
Quand l'autre roi est vaincu,
When the other king is
il vient
defeated,
devant le roi,
he comes in front of the king and he gives him
je
everything.
suis ton serviteur.
I am your servant.
On ne peut rien faire.
We cannot do anything.
Il est tellement beau,
It's so beautiful,
tellement doux.
so sweet.
C'est pas possible.
It is not
C'est parce qu'on ne
possible.
voit pas.
It's because
On
we
peut pas
don't
avoir
see
l'expérience.
that we cannot have
On
experience,
reste comme on est.
that we stay like we are.
Dès l'expérience
But
de
as soon as the
Krishna,
experience of Krishna comes,
on lui remet tout.
we give him
Et
everything
on accepte ce
and
qu'il
we
veut.
accept what he wants to give
Qu'est-ce
us.
qu'il veut?
And what does he
On
want?
intègre son royaume.
That we integrate his abode,
C'est très doux.
his kingdom. It's very
Très
sweet.
merveilleux.
It's really wonderful.
C'est sublime.
It's sublime.
C'est une expérience.
This is an experience.
Et c'est difficile à
And it is
comprendre
difficult to understand
si on n'a pas expérimenté.
if we have not experienced.
Mais Krishna dit,
But Krishna
celui qui
says,
a expérimenté,
the one who has experienced,
il connaît tous les Védas,
he knows all of the Vedas,
toutes les connaissances.
all knowledge,
Parce que toutes les connaissances
because
qui sont
all knowledge
manifestées dans ce monde,
that are
elles
manifested in
sont
this world,
indirectement ou directement
they're indirectly or
faites pour se
directly
diriger vers lui.
made to direct ourselves towards us because everything comes from him,
Quand vous voyez
is by him and for him. When you see Krishna,
alors
then
tous les buts sont atteints.
all the goals are attained.
Et tout ça, c'est inconcevable.
And all of this is inconceivable.
Mais
But
c'est simplement
it is simply
comme un retour.
just like a return.
On avait fait tout ce tour,
We did all this whole
tous ces
tour,
millions d'existences
these millions of
pour
lifetimes,
réaliser qu'on s'était
to realize that we cheated
Là,
ourselves.
quand on revient, Krishna
And then when we come back, Krishna
ne revient
says,
plus jamais dans ce monde.
we never come back in this world anymore. Never.
Oh,
Haribo.